What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another Bucks on Deck podcast episode. I'm Anthony Murphy, and with me, as always, my good old buddy, Nola Jeffy. How's it going, Nola?
Oh, fantastic. Weather's getting a little hotter down here. We went from nonstop rain to now it's just really hot.
That's fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
That is fun. Yeah,
Gotta
it's
love it.
weather's warming up a little bit up this way, too. We're not getting as much rain down there. Had me a nice little cookout over the weekend. I grilled
Another
me
cookout?
I'm turning into the next grill man. You're gonna find me on the Food Network here pretty soon.
There we go.
Yeah. So, but hope everyone is doing good. We have a fun little show planned today. I've alluded to it on previous shows, and I alluded a little bit this Monday morning on NS9. Our midseason updated top 25 rankings for the site. Those are all ready to go. I'm just finding the best day to drop them this week. And I figured this week we'll kind of give, on the episode today, we'll kind of give a little bit of a teaser. Maybe we're going to go through some of the biggest risers, some of the fallers, and just talk a little prospect here. No spoiler alert. To no one's surprise, Paul Skeens did end up as the number one prospect in the Pirate system.
What?
Yeah, shocker. And that is the only tease. That's the only tease you'll get with it. But I know you said before the show that probably about like 2 weeks or so, and we're going to be looking for a new number one at that point.
I guess not us technically, because we go by the innings limit. So he's at 31 days service, so there'll be he's got 2 weeks left before he'd fall off MLB pipeline. But he's sitting at 27 innings, so you figure 23.1. It's roughly about 4 starts, probably.
He's averaging like right at 5 innings per start right now. I had started doing the math the other day whenever like I was finalizing the list and stuff like that, and I had like an approximate calculation. I wrote it down, and I can't remember which notebook I wrote it down in, so I haven't bothered really looking. So, but yeah, within the next month for sure, we'll have a new number one prospect there, and that'll be obviously something fun we could talk about then. But in the meantime, Skeen's obviously number one, and I guess we'll maybe start on a positive note and go with some of the risers. And these are in no specific order, but I guess we'll go ahead and start off with the guy that's kind of the big name in the system right now, and that's Charles McAdoo. And he was not ranked in our original list. Definitely ranked this time. Had a nice little bump up there. So what has it been for you that you've seen that you've really liked from him this year?
For me, I guess just the all-around game he's shown. Hitting for power, hitting for average, walking, stealing bases. That was one thing I think even when I wrote in the Miley guide that he probably wasn't someone to really look out for with stolen bases, but he already has 11 out of 13 tries, so he's doing it all right now, really.
Yeah,
and
it
should get pushed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I think I don't obviously Ashcraft got pushed up to AAA, but next to Ashcraft, I don't think there's anyone else in the system that's more in need of a promotion than McAdoo at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and it's like it's good timing for this too, because the Baseball America had that article Monday morning with like the Robo Scout rankings,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a nice little paragraph or two on him on there, and like he had his 90th, like he's hitting the ball a lot harder than I guess I would have expected, kind of thing. They said he had like 12 batted balls higher than what his maximum exit velocity was last year in Bradenton. His 90th percentile is 108, which is really good. And I think they said something along the lines of like of hitters that have that 90th percentile or better, he has the best contact rate as well. So, like you said, he's making contact. He's hitting the ball hard. I think the biggest concern for me, for the most part, and it's even still something that I know we've talked about recently, like the whole question, like defensively and stuff like that. I think that's kind of turned out a lot better, maybe than I was expecting. You know, he's handled third base pretty well. I'm still not sure if that's like his long-term fit, but he's been a lot better than I kind of figured. So
yeah, it's not similar to like Brannigan where they were playing him like even when like with the Arizona Fall League, they were putting him at shortstop. It's like, oh, they must really like him at shortstop, and you'd watch him, and you're like, oh, he's actually really good at shortstop. But it's not similar to like them giving Tamar or Mitch Jebs time at shortstop. It's like, oh, they must like him there. It's like, no, they're not very good there.
Yeah, he's certainly played, and then he got like into it like a game or two in the outfield like recently too. And I think I know he played first in Bradenton last year, like a game or two. I don't know.
He's gotten a couple there this year.
Yeah, so I mean, very versatile, and even if like even he's not an elite defender, that versatility always helps the further up you go. But so
I mean, who knows? At 6'1", 210, maybe he's the first base prospect of the future.
There we go. And that is why we don't draft first baseman with the top 10 pick. See, look, I managed to squeeze that in almost every single conversation now every single podcast recently.
We're gonna get a soundboard.
I'm just gonna hit that, and it's just gonna come up. So that's perfect. But yeah, McAdoo, he wasn't technically the highest jump, but he definitely is probably the most impressive hitting prospect, I would think, or the best performing hitting prospect in the system right now. I think he'd probably be hard pressed to find anyone else at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, OBP over 400, a 162 WRC plus. I mean, he's killing it.
Yeah. Needs a nice little push here. Someone who maybe is close to that as well is another guy who's jumped up on the list. He was originally unranked going into the season. Personal favorite in the system for me, Omar Alfonso. He made a nice little jump on there. Catcher / first baseman. I feel like he's played fairly well behind the plate. I guess maybe there's still a chance that he kind of slides over to first, but the exit velocity numbers are from a year ago. He's making good contact. Just a really well-rounded hitter. Overall.
I had no idea you were an Alfonso fan.
I know, it's a shocker. I mean, his name. There's no Cam in the name, so I guess it would be easy for me to overlook. So, how about what all did you see? Have you seen from Alfonso this year that's kind of helped with his rise up the list?
I think a lot of it for me was, he kind of came out of the season banging, hitting the ball well, and I think even that's when you were like, hey, Baseball America, he's on some of their lists. And then he went on that stretch where he struck out like 13 times in a row or something. Mm-hmm. And it was like, oh no, here it comes. But he quickly turned it around. And I think that itself is, just the adversity that he went from slamming the ball to it was almost like they adjusted to where he couldn't hit a thing. He was striking a lot. And then he adjusted, and now he's back to crushing the ball.
Yeah, which is kind of exactly what you want to see. That's the big part of development and stuff like that. Pitchers are going to adapt and adjust, and they're going to figure out what your tendencies are and stuff like that, and what you hit well and what you don't hit well. And if you can't make those adjustments in single A, then you're not going to make it too far up the ladder. And while you always want your prospects to do well, I almost at times kind of like when seeing these kind of struggles just to see how they handle it, and how they make those adjustments. We're seeing a little bit from Valdez right now. He had a pretty rough month of May strikeout wise, and he's off to a pretty good start so far. in June.
Yeah,
So
I think he was probably one of the near the top of the system in total strikeouts. But that's why I mentioned y'all earlier Monday that I was like, he had one strikeout this past week against the best Florida State League team.
yeah,
He had one strikeout. I was like, damn.
Hit a couple home runs. Yeah, it's a good week for Valdez. He didn't quite make the list for me. I think for me it's like the positional thing kind of really hurt him for me, and then also too like just because like I've seen him in the outfield and didn't really look good in the outfield, and then there's a couple plays too at first base to where it's like, okay, well, he might be like a DH, and then that just kind of adds even more pressure to the bat kind of thing, but. He's the kind of guy. I mean, he's still a really young 20. So like, I do think there's like, if we did like a just missed kind of thing, I think he's just outside our 25 or 30 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
didn't miss by much.
No, he didn't miss by much. And on the pitching side, we'll go one more guy on the rising part of things. Hunter Barco. He was the biggest jump pitching wise. Yeah, I mean, we talk about like McAdoo, probably the guy who's most in need of a promotion. Like if you want to talk another guy on that same team that's probably very near that same boat, I think Barco is probably that guy.
I'd agree to that. He had a bit of a rough start this past week, but I mean, I think even he popped really when that spring breakout, when I think we've talked about it a couple of times now, when he was flashing 94, 95, and we were just like, okay, is that here to stay? Is that just the nerves, adrenaline running it up? And then we've been listening. You got to listen for it in the Greensboro games. But there's times, I mean, the fourth, fifth in, they're like, 94, 95 fastball. I'm like, okay, so he's still bringing it later in games. And, yeah, he's someone I'm excited for and would really like to see move up.
Yeah, I mean, he's so like you talk about the fastball and the thing, and the fastball playing up, especially up in the zone and the velocity being up and stuff like that. That like completely changed his profile as
Right.
like a prospect there too, because like we saw it in Bradenton, and it was kind of underwhelming last year. It's like, okay, well, I mean, at least it was like, okay, well, at least he has like a good changeup, good slider, but like just the fastball is going to kind of be like meh. So
yeah, it was a pitchability guy with control that
Yeah, it's like maybe he might have success, or like he might get to Double A and just get beat to hell at that point. Yeah, but like he enters the year, like you said, in the spring breakout game, 94, 95 with the fastball. Comes out. It's been far and few in between of actually getting reliable velocity readings on him. But like you said, if you listen carefully, we'll get an update here and there on what he's throwing, and it sounds like the fastball is playing up even deeper into games, which I mean, now you're talking what 3 above average pitches probably up at that point. The changeup maybe is
above average control too.
Yeah, so I mean that's a completely different profile than what we were looking at going into the season, and I think it didn't. And said like along the same lines as McAdoo, like I wanted to like be a little cautious with anything with Barco pitching in high A, just because he is an older prospect kind of. Well, I think he's like 23 already. But like you just look at the stuff, and what he's throwing is the kind of stuff that can play in the upper levels. So
yeah, but the nice thing is that
take long for me to move him up.
I'm willing to give more credence to a pitcher doing well in high A than a hitter mashing.
That's fair. Well, we're doing good on time. Let's sneak in one more riser here on here, and we'll go with his teammate. In the
we're just staying rotation with Greensboro.
Yeah, Greensboro. And that's Patrick Riley. Was unranked before. He's on the list this time. I think he might have just. No, I don't even think that he was probably within our like top 30, 35 in the original list on there. I think it was a lot of it was like it was a wait and see thing for him. We all kind of assumed that he was going to get a shot as a starter, so we kind of wanted to see how he looked.
It was one of those like data darling kind of guys. Yeah. And what's his control going to look like?
Yeah. Yeah, he caught our eyes immediately once we started seeing the data on his pitches and stuff like that. But then also it's like, okay, well, like we know the control is really bad, and the control was bad in Bradenton, the little bit that he pitched there. So, but the control's fading a little bit at this point, but like it's still manageable. He's given up some Greensboro home runs while there, so like the ERA is up a little bit. I feel like. Or higher than maybe like I feel like some of those home runs aren't home runs in a lot of other places, so I can give him a pass on that. And like it's just the fastball is playing really well, even though he's kind of dialing it back some because he's trying to stretch out into games and control it a little bit more. Has a lot of life up in the zone. The slider's really good. But yeah, I think he's really impressed as well too, considering like the main concern with him was. Could he be a starter because of the control?
That's I'm trying to look up right now. Because he was pretty much a reliever all through college too, right?
Yeah, he made it look like he made like a couple spot starts each year. Like I don't think it was any more than like 5 or 6 a year.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess including summer league, his highest would be 75.2 innings.
Okay.
And he's already at 46.1.
So yeah, he should get. I feel like he's a candidate, a guy that you can probably. I don't see a reason why as long as he stays healthy, he should be able to push triple digits this year. I feel like I don't see a reason why he shouldn't be able to. I mean, Harrington did last year in his first full year right out of college. He was more of a starter than him.
Yeah, I would say because Harrington had probably close to 100 at least a time or two. With although he was only 2 years at 2 years.
Well, I know he didn't start. He couldn't, because he was a walk-on. So I know he didn't start immediately. Yeah. I don't think he became a starter until like his last year when they drafted him.
Yeah, 2022, but he had 90. Well, no, he was a starter in his first year too.
Was he?
Okay. Because he had let's see, freshman year 75.2 innings, sophomore year 92.2, and then last year went 127.1 innings.
Okay. Yeah, so I could see Riley pushing triple digits this year.
Yeah, I can see triple digits.
And unless the like the control just completely craters like JP Massey's did last year. So, but
we were on to JP Massey for a minute.
Yeah, stuff looked good. All right, so yeah, there's a couple guys that kind of made a nice little jump. Most of them went from not being ranked to being ranked on there. Now let's talk on the flip side. A couple guys who dropped, and I think the elephant in the room here is going to be the guy who took the biggest fall off the cliff or whatever you want to call it. But Mitch Jebb took quite a beating in our updated rankings.
Yeah, I think I was nice.
Yeah, I think you were the nicest of the group of there. I'd have to pull. Actually, I think I have all threes. I probably have all threes. But if you want to go ahead and talk about what you've seen.
Well, I mean, I guess really it's just a matter of what we haven't seen. I mean, when they drafted him, at least when you hear the profile of the type of player he was, all I could think of off the bat was G1 Bay or Tucupita Marcano with the contact over power, fast, versatile. It's like they just got another one, except that he had 80 grade speed, which, I mean, you saw that right away. First game, he put a ball up the middle and was like, wow, this dude is fast as hell. it was earlier in the season. I think we couldn't tell if he was trying to swing for more power. He was striking out and swinging strikes like way more often than you would have expected for an advanced college program contact oriented hitter. And again, he shouldn't be at shortstop. At this point, I mean, granted, they got Hudson Head. I was gonna say I don't know, and Lonnie White. So I was gonna say I don't know why they don't just throw him out in center field and let him just get going. But yeah, it's just a lot of weak contact when he does make contact. It feels like a player that at worst should dominate the minor leagues. I don't know how much of a impact he would have made when he made the majors, if he made the majors. But when you look at a G1 Bay or Marcano, they, because of their style, they obliterated the minors generally. Like I think they maybe only once won a batting title
in Greensboro.
Yeah, and then
when they were the single A team.
Yeah, and then Marcano would always destroy the minors because even just bloop hits, they could put a ball to the right or left field line and easy double every time. But yeah, the contact, the swing and miss, ground balls, it's just a profile that's not going to play. Especially if it's not playing in high right now.
Yeah, he's a two tool player, and one of the tools is getting in the way of his other tool right now. He's not hitting, so he's not getting on base to use his speed, and the speed is already being underutilized at second base right now. Like you said, he's not a shortstop. Like I think it didn't take us long to kind of to look at him and just watch him play and be like, oh yeah, that's not a shortstop. And like, sure, you can have some speed there at second base, but I feel like it's gonna have to get utilized better. They're gonna have to get more value out of it, and the only way to get more value out of it right now would just stick him in center field, kind of thing. But yeah, I feel like the Pirates haven't been openly creative with some of that kind of stuff, and when they get that way, it's kind of like beat your head in the wall, like why this guy kind of thing, like Henry Davis in right field or Cole Tucker in the outfield kind of thing.
Well, and that's what Greensboro, it makes the least a little sense, only because again you got Lonnie White and Hudson Head there. They previously had Ciani there. I don't recall if Hilson's getting any center field time, but
he might have got some. I think he gets some.
Yeah, so until someone, maybe it's time for Hudson Head to go up too, and then you could free up some time. But it's kind of a player without a position that's also not hitting.
Yeah, those aren't good. And to be and for that to be being the case in high A for a college hitter, that's even less. Like if he was if they had him in double A, you can even make a kind of a case out of it, or be like, okay, well, let's give him more time. We'll give him more time. It's double A. Let's see how things go. But for him to be doing it in high A, and it's just, it hasn't been pretty at times with it. And
and it isn't like a Chang where, even though he's a little guy with the type of swing he has, you're like, okay, you can see an ability to drive the ball there. Mm-hmm. With Jeb, it's like you're watching a weak Hunter Pence sometimes.
Yeah. I like that. I like that comparison there. Yeah, it's been a rough watch, and I didn't want to get too drastic with things, and I checked the updated list. You were the nicest to him, which I guess it's not too surprising considering some of the stuff like Wilbur has said, but yeah, it's a rough watch on there. And you mentioned Chang. Speaking of that, he also is on the list here. He didn't drop a lot. We didn't have a lot of guys who were in free fall outside of Jeb, but there's some guys that, and some of it too. And some of them looking by how much they dropped, you could probably make a case that a lot of it was just some guys just came out and kind of blew us away and just jumped ahead of that kind of thing. So, but Cheng is definitely, he dropped a couple. He was a guy last year that, he showed some power in Greensboro, but we kind of called that going into the year. Like you were very adamantly up front, like this is a guy that's probably going to show power here. So like, let's not get too excited. And he showed power, went to Altoona, stopped showing the power. And it was a pretty ugly day.
Although he had a double spot in our observations this week, and and that's where I know we discussed it prior to where like to making a list where it's like you feel pretty good relatively about like maybe like a top 10. After that, it's just a crapshoot, really, because it's a lot of A-ball players, rookie league players, and it's like, okay, do you weigh potential upside? Do you weigh what they've done so far? Like, what?
It's a lot of personal opinions or personal preferences that once we got outside of like the top 10 at that.
And that's where, I think Cheng easily could. If he continues he's been kind of streaky this year, and he's on another like tear right now. If he could get a little consistency with that going, because I mean he plays shortstop well enough. There's no problem. There's no problem there. But you're going to want to see. I mean, seeing the almost 27% strike rate is a little worrisome, especially for someone that never struck out more than 20%.
Yeah.
And is it going to get worse in AAA? We don't know. He's kept the walk rate up, but he's got an above average OPS and WRC plus right now. So if he can continue that through the rest of the season, I think he's still got a handful of upside to him.
Yeah. The thing that worried about me was like he struggles against lefties. So there's the potential limitation on who he can face once he's in the majors. So I'd like to see some of that get cleaned up and stuff like that. And then obviously, like I threw the question, like you mentioned observation. I threw that the question is like, do we think that he's selling out for more power here? Because he already has seven home runs this year, and he hit like four or five last year in Altoona.
Yeah, I think it was 9 in Greensboro and 4 in Altoona, I want to say.
Yeah, and that was over 60 to 70 games that he ended up with Altoona, and like we're nowhere near that part of this deep into the year yet.
I will say, because NMR had made a comment a little earlier this evening, and I pulled up because I don't remember specifically, but it was something like a 546 OPS at home and like an 800 plus OPS on the road. And I looked at the that chart that Baseball America had done recently with the last 2 years splits, and actually Altoona, the WOBA is pretty evenly split. I think it was 100 for right-handed hitters and 102 for left-handed hitters at Altoona, but the home run factor for left-handed hitters was 82. Oof. So there's still a possibility that Altoona is hindering him a bit, because that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
That's pretty low.
Kind of makes what Mason Martin used to do there that much more impressive then.
Right.
Yeah, he's someone that like maybe the numbers aren't going to do him justice to what he can maybe provide to a team. Because, like, I mean, he's like he's a speed guy. If he can find the gap, he's going to turn that single into a double or just steal a base. And like we said, he plays really good defense, and maybe he has a chance to be just a better major leaguer than he was a minor leaguer, because like he keeps either playing in a incredibly hitter friendly ballpark or just a ballpark that just baseballs die for him and stuff like that. He's never been able to have like a consistent, just average kind of ballpark to play at. So, I think with him, like, yeah, there were some cautions and all that, but I think the drop for him is probably more so. We have like the Hunter Barcos really jumping up, and a lot of the other pitchers, and like other hitters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't think I look at him. I don't think I've like if I had to put like an overall grade for him, I don't think I've dropped it myself too much from where he was at going into the year. It's just like number wise, he's just taking a hit. I feel like.
Well, and I think it also has a little bit to do with what we've spoken about before, just with how the Pirates seem to be having success with pitchers. When we see pitchers with some available, promising data and they're doing well, it's like, okay, we foresee this guy as more likely to have future success.
Yeah, that's right. And we haven't seen that on the hitting side really yet. I mean, it looks like Nick Gonzalez could be that guy. It's just like I don't know how long of a sample size until like I think we're ready to cement that kind of thing. Because like
I was thinking about that.
We're still talking like a couple weeks with him in the majors.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that earlier because not Rosati, the other Jim Stam, I think for the City 412. I think I saw him make a comment, tweet about Henry Davis and Jack Sawinski since coming up, and it's like, yeah, they've both been pretty bad since they came back. Aside from Jack's one home run, and then now he's injured. But Gio Bay wasn't looking good prior to getting injured, so it's like right now, Gonzalez is the guy.
Yeah, he is the guy. Like there's nothing really outside. But I mean, if you're only going to have one guy hitting, let him hit the way Nick Gonzalez been hitting.
Hey, but that's fine. Rowdy is showing up now, so
all is saved. All is saved.
Yep. It's route
162 game season, guys. 162 games, and we're only in June.
Yeah, 1 month to the draft.
Excited. So another guy took a little bit of hit, and I think honestly, thinking about like why he could have dropped and stuff like that, I'm surprised maybe that he didn't slip further than he actually did. But Junshik Shim, and I just butchered that name.
I'm not even going to say it.
He's another guy, one of the top. What's that?
So I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to let you wear it.
Okay, I'm just going to say Shim from now on. Shim was a guy who had a pretty, compared to the others, had a pretty good significant drop as well. And I think that goes to the old cliched line: the best ability is availability, and he just hasn't been there. He's a guy I kind of planned my entire one of the guys I planned my entire trip around going into the year, and boom, 60-day injured list. So
I said on the reverse side, where I said I was probably the nicest with Jeb, I was probably the meanest with Shim.
I can confirm or deny that. Shim. Actually, you and Wilbur had him exactly the same.
Okay.
Which I mean, like, yeah. I mean, we've all heard it, and like in the very little bit that we've seen, and what we've seen are really just Twitter clips from like Birdland, and I think even like Rosati had something like last year when he was down in Florida. He got a couple pitches of him, like where we catch the complex games. Like he never pitched in one of the games that we would have been able to see. Right. So he's still just like this big mystery. And so I think the fact that he's only pitched 8 innings so far, and a lot of what we're doing is like word of mouth at this point, kind of speaks highly of what we think of him. It's just like, okay, this could be the beginning of a trend for him if he can't get onto the field. And I know
he could become the next Brennan Malone. Does he exist?
Yeah. I mean, like, I've never seen the guy. So
I mean, we did see Brennan Malone a couple appearances in Bradenton, and we were like, "Holy shit, this dude's got some stuff!" And then he got hurt right again.
Yep, hurt immediately. And I can't even throw to the fact that like Cody and I had him on the podcast because like he had his face blacked out when we did the Zoom thing. So like we don't know if that was actually a person or not. But yeah, I think. And there's a thing that came like what is it? Tim over on P2 mentioned that he had Tommy John. I don't think we've had anyone kind of confirm that. I know I talked with no one that's involved with the Pirates, but some people I talked to while I was down there said the opposite of that. Like I said, they're not involved with the Pirates at all. They just. It seems like a very tight-knit circle down there in Florida. So like word gets around and stuff like that. And Tommy John, there was a fear of Tommy John, but it wasn't end up not being Tommy John is what I heard mentioned whenever we talked about shit. So I don't expect the Pirates to say anything one way or the other, probably, unless someone goes out there and asks. And if by chance someone who does actually talk to Cherington and stuff like that is listening to this and they want to go ahead and ask, that would be awesome. But yeah, it would just be nice to see Shim on the field at some point.
It would be with data.
Yes, data is a must. We must see data. But when I did talk to Michael Kennedy, because Michael Kennedy was, we were talking about like how his pitches have evolved, and he used to be like this over the top lefty with like a big 12-6 curveball, and as his arm slot dropped, that's how he kind of got to the slider and sweeper and stuff like that. He mentioned that Shim helped him some with Shim helped him with the slider, but he doesn't use the slider much because his curveball is amazing. So like you have a pitcher, you have another pitcher in the system like that go out of his way to say how good of that pitch is on there. So I don't know. I mean, I think he'll be 20 by the end of this year if he's not already 20. So definitely something we're going to need to see on the field sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he turned 20 back in April. Which I guess the good news would be when he's healthy, he's someone that, with everything that's been said about him, that shouldn't be held back too long. So,
yeah, he seemed like a pretty advanced guy, and
advanced
if
control.
He hadn't got hurt last year, he probably would have finished in Bradenton.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, I'm not doing anything like with that. I was just saying, like, I did notice that it was mentioned, or someone mentioned that Tim had said that he had Tommy John. I had someone tell me otherwise down in Florida. I'd be more inclined, to be fair, to listen to what Tim said at that point, but also to like we haven't got. I think someone would have said something from the team if a player of Shim's stature had Tommy John. So
yeah, I feel like word would have got out.
I mean, because like even we figured out about Kellington too that he had Tommy John. So
yeah, well, someone would have made an Instagram post.
Ideally, yes.
Plus, he's only on the 60-day. Usually, the Tommy John guys, they put on the full season. So,
I guess we'll see. Someone needs to ask. We need answers. Right. But those are some of our risers, some of our fallers, and to wrap things up, Nola has the weekly preview.
Right. I opened up the different article.
Nice.
Threw me off. I gotta look for it. Let's see. Schedule. I was totally prepared. All right. So, the big news of the week is obviously that Braxton Ashcraft will be in AAA. He'll get to face off against the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, the Miami Marlins AAA affiliate, who the Indians went 2-4 last week. They're also going to get Nico Goodrum. We'll see if he is an infusion of offense. Couple big names on the Jumbo Shrimp. Max Meyer, obviously, top 100 prospect. Their second overall, who was mysteriously optioned during the season after opening up the year. Let's see what I had it down here at 2.12 ERA in 3 starts. But he hasn't been very good in AAA. A 6.75 ERA and 26.2. The biggest bat name would be Victor Mesa Jr., who's 4th overall. He has a 811 OPS in AAA so far, so he's having a pretty good year. 22-year-old. Skipping down Altoona, who went 4-2 last week, catching fire.
You're cooking.
Are taking on one of the top Eastern League teams in the Erie Seawolves, Detroit Tigers affiliate. Unfortunately, Jackson Joby is still not back and has not made a rehab appearance, so I'd say it's very unlikely he appears this week. Hoping that, either Hunter Barco, Derek Diamond, or Dominic Parachi get moved up. That'd be kind of cool. I don't know why Parachi got sent back down in the first place, but their top prospect would be Troy Melton, 10th overall. He's run into a bit of a tough stretch lately. Altoona tagged him for 6 runs, 4 earned, back on May 23rd in an inning and a third. With the Grasshoppers, who lost their division lead, or now sit a half game back at Jersey Shore, are taking on the Winston-Salem Dash White Sox affiliate. They're near the bottom in team OPS and team ERA. That pitching staff also lost Noah Schultz, who got bumped up to AA. So Samuel Zavala would be their top-ranked prospect, 6th overall. He's having a tough year. 661 OPS. He similar to Tamar, he's only 19 years old. Although today was Tamar's birthday, or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Oh, right.
Tomorrow. Yeah,
sorry.
Tomorrow.
I made that. So yeah, there's only 4 top 30 prospects on the Dash. The team's meh. So it'd be a good week to go on a run and take back the division lead with, I'm going to assume, 2 weeks left in the first half.
I had to feel. I'm good. I'm just going to or no, I asked someone I could ask that.
Well, true. I keep meaning to tweet at JJ Cooper or someone and be like, hey, give me this information. Because it's not really. I can only find the 2023, and even then it mentions the date for AAA and then nothing else. I'm like, this is not helpful. Skipping down now to Low A, the Marauders will take on the Dunedin Blue Jays. Mm-hmm. This is a similar situation to a couple of weeks ago. Their top 2 listed prospects, Brandon Barreria and Landon Marotis, are both on the full season IL. So their top ranked prospect currently is Damiano Palmigiani. But he's on rehab assignment, and he's already tearing the cover off the ball in a week, 6 games, OPS over 1,000. So he's got upper level experience. I wouldn't be surprised that he moves out real quick. So then that would bring up the next guy would be Jarn Watts Brown, 18th overall, who what was it? He threw 4 innings, allowing 2 runs and striking out 8 the last time he faced the Marauders. College pitcher, decent stuff. So they'll get another look at him. So,
good.
Yeah, first half is got a couple weeks left. What's that?
I'd say a good week maybe to get get cooking especially for the lower level teams on there. And I did not realize until I read your article and got it scheduled and everything like that, Noah Schultz got promoted on there too.
Yeah,
kind of I'd never had a chance to actually sit down and watch one of the games against Greensboro. So
yeah, it was like
I missed that.
It was 3 weeks ago. I want to say it was.
That he got promoted.
Yeah,
or last time.
I think he's made 3 AA starts already.
No shot. No shot.
I'm gonna be right.
No shot. I there's no way I might have. Oh yeah, 3 strikes. Wow.
Boom. Boom.
Wow. I am so far out of the loop. It was a long weekend.
60% of the time, I'm always right.
That could be right. I could be right. All right. Well, that is. Well, I guess as we wrap things up, we got any NOLA knowledge for people out there?
The one NOLA knowledge I was thinking of earlier is a little tongue in cheek of don't have a special education child in Louisiana. The state sucks for it.
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. I was gonna make a comment about how that comment you made on in the NS9 comment section this morning went over, I think, everyone's heads about Revive.
Oh, throwing bullets on target.
On target. Who else at shortstop throws targets but not on target? Well, all right. So
he threw it 102 miles an hour.
I mean, yeah. Rowdy should have just
go.
Yeah. Rowdy should just catch it, jump and catch it. But that is going to be everything for today. NOLA, for those that don't have the video going, where can they reach you on social media?
At NOLA Jeffy, NOLAJEFFY.
And you can follow me at _Murphy88. Subscribe to the site, Bucks on Deck Substack. Like we said, what the whole show was about. We'll have the midseason updated rankings out later this week. May do a little sale and everything for it too. I don't know. We'll see. Subscribe so you can get those. It was fun kind of doing the rewrite up of the players now that, especially some of them that I've actually seen in person now too. Like the guys down in the lower levels and stuff like that. So it was fun getting to write that up and kind of just taking a look at the organization as a whole kind of stuff. So subscribe to the site. It helps support us and make us allow us to continue to do what we're doing. And we appreciate all the support that we're getting now. And we're creeping ever closer to 1 year now.
I was saying, and once we hit 300 paid subscribers, Murphy will do an Icy Heller.
Icy Heller, sure. Subscribe. We start hitting these nice milestone stuff. We'll find some stuff that Murphy can do on camera and stuff like that. That'll be fun.
Did you even catch that?
Yeah, I did.
Start gathering ghost peppers.
Man, I don't know. I still haven't really tested my stomach and everything like that with spicy food since the surgery. So
ooh, yeah.
I guess I'm going to have to start testing myself a little bit.
# funky chalupa.
All right, everyone. Have a good one. Hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll see you on the site, and we will see you next week.
Deuces.